Hey guys, Ed Diaz with Bank Home Loans here today. Well, guess what happened? My remote shutter doesn't work, so as you can see, I came in from the side, but I have the distinct pleasure of being here with Mr. Doug Ben. He's an attorney here at Ben Law in San Francisco, and he's a specialist in business law. And one of the things that I wanted to chat with him today is some of his business formation law that he practices. You know, there's been a lot of businesses opening up in San Francisco, particularly on the tech side. So one of the things that I wanted to know, first off, I wanted to thank you,
Doug, thanks for coming over. Appreciate
getting
it.
on my little video here. As you know, there's been a lot of tech movement, a lot of business startups here in San Francisco in the last, 5 years. So I kind of wanted to get your take as to if we were to divide this pie between tech and non-tech, how many businesses, as far as percentages, would you say have started in the last 5 years? How much is starting this year, a prediction, and what do you think is going to happen in the future as far as the tech and the non-tech sector? Because, you know, when it comes to tech too, it's not just apps that we have here in San Francisco, but we also have a lot of biotech and a lot of cell therapy and a lot of a lot of drugs being manufactured here and invented here in San Francisco. So if you could just kind of speak to that as to what you've seen in the last 5 years in San Francisco, what you think is going to happen in 2016 and then beyond.
Yeah, well, there's been a real shift in the last 5 years from there's certainly still a lot of tech down in Silicon Valley, but a lot of that has shifted back up to San Francisco. And along with that, quite a few of the search providers as well. So a lot of law firms that maybe were based down south, they've opened up satellite offices up here because they follow where the work is going. So that's kind of the one general big trend we've seen is the shift from startups maybe not being in South Bay exclusively, but much more being in San Francisco. And they follow the talent. So a lot of young programmers, they're trying to attract young 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds, and they don't want to live in Mountain View. Mountain View is a beautiful place, but when you're young, you'd rather be in San Francisco. And they don't want to commute 45 minutes a day. So when you're going after that talented programmer, maybe you got a better shot to do that if your headquarters is here in San Francisco versus being down in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, that's true. So what do you think as far as more tech companies just starting, just the incubation period of companies we've never heard of, not just the companies that are relocating here, but how about tech startups? What do you think is going to happen in 2016?
Well, there's been a real blow up in the number of startups in the Bay Area in the last 5 years, and a number of new incubator programs have come along, and it seems like everyone that lives in San Francisco is either working at a startup, has a startup idea, is working on a startup of their own, and it's left and right. And at some point, though, there's got to be a match between the amount of capital that's available for investment to help taking those ideas to the next level. And it seems to me right now that there may be more of a supply of everyone running around with a great idea and the amount of people that are willing to write checks to get those ideas taken off.
When it comes to venture capital, VC money, I hear that VCs are starting to pull back and starting to get a little bit shy about just handing out the bucks so easily. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, we're seeing quite a bit of that. I think even as soon as a couple of years ago, raising capital was easier than it is now. And if you had a good idea and you had a quality, minimal viable product, you could raise investment capital. And there's been a shift where now you really need metrics. You need to be able to show growth, you need to show users, you need to show repeat users, close transactions. And it's not enough to have a flashy product and a good idea. You got to show that people want to use that product, and then they'll get out the checkbook.
How about non-tech companies? When it comes to things like, yes, professional services, but restaurants and other services in San Francisco, are we starting to see more of that happening, or is that happening less, and tech is just overruling everything?
Well, I think the big difference is that the commercial real estate market in San Francisco has gotten so hot that it's really squeezed out some small business owners. We've had a number of clients that have taken years of their life to build a small business, and when their lease comes up for renewal, they're finding their rent's being doubled, it's being tripled, and on the landlord side, that's market. They can bring in an incubator program, they can bring in a startup that's willing to pay triple the rent that maybe that small business was paying before, but the small business just can't stomach it. So we're having more and more clients having to move out of San Francisco or close up altogether.
How about on the side of professional services such as law firms and CPAs, that nature? Are we starting to see more of those professionals coming to San Francisco, or are they getting priced out as well?
They're getting priced out as well. It's either higher rates, it's got to pay for itself somehow, where you're seeing a big movement to more and more boutique firms using virtual office space, working remotely to keep their rates in check, because frankly the office space is just too expensive for them in San Francisco.
Yeah. So moving forward, the future, if you had the little proverbial crystal ball, what do you think is going to happen in San Francisco as far as business startups?
No, there's a great deal of uncertainty. I think there's more uncertainty now than there has been in the last 5 years. There's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs, and I think it just needs time to see how it unfolds.
Okay. Well, there you heard it from the master himself. So, Doug, how does somebody get a hold of you?
Send me an email, doug@bend.lawoffice.com. We'd love to chat with you and see where things go.
There you go. Anything regarding contracts, or you want to start a business, or you want to dissolve a business, this is your guy. So thanks again.
Really appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Thank you.